jackpot game. This is Powerball. Good evening, America. I'm Laura Johnson. Tonight we have another life-changing jackpot for you. It's worth an estimated $78.4 million. So get those tickets out. Let's play. That first number up is 31. Followed by the number 13. Tonight we're going to meet the lucky 30 who won $1 million playing Powerball. Now for the rest of those numbers, we've got 51, 58, 33. Your Powerball number tonight is 15, and your Power Play multiplier is 2.
Live from Augusta, we're watching News 1226 at 11.
Well, storms moved out just in time for Augusta to host its Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade. Our Taylor Martin was there. Taylor, who was in attendance walking through the parade?
Well, bands from the Academy of Richmond County, Lucy C. Laney High School, Cross Creek High School, and many more took to the streets of Laney Walker and James Brown Boulevard, showing off their pride for the civil rights activist. The sound of gratitude and pride for Dr. King's sacrifice rang out through Augusta. From city leaders to bands to motorcycle clubs, hundreds of people from Augusta came out to celebrate.
We've been doing this event for the last 20 years, and we're going to continue to keep coming out here. Martin King fought for justice, so we want to always show that what he fought for was not in vain. So we're going to try to keep his dream alive. Keeping the dream alive. It's why Anaya Parker brings her kids to the parade every year.
I'm going to teach my kids, let them know, hey, this is Martin Luther King, this is what he's done, this is why we celebrate him, this is why we honor him, in January.
For many people, the parade is a way to celebrate the freedom we gained from his sacrifices. It's also a way to spend time with family.
But I'm really actually excited for I can throw out candy and I can just be in the parade and share my family.
From James Brown Boulevard to Laney Walker and ending on 11th Street, 2 hours of floats, music, and dancing, filling Augusta with spirit. And it's just the first of many celebrations for the holiday.
Martin Luther King is the epitome of what it means for us as a black community. Black folks, he fought for our civil rights.
All for Dr. King. Now, there's still a few events left going into the holiday itself. You can find that information on our website, wrdw.com.
Alrighty, thanks for checking in on that, Taylor. Now tossing things over to First Alert meteorologist Emily Acton. Very serious weather week, Emily. Are we going to see a bit of a calm down in the weather going into this next one?
Thankfully, yes. Yeah, we had a first alert weather day and then a first alert day this past week. But thankfully, this weekend, things have been a lot calmer for us. A little bit cooling down, but I think that we'll take that versus some stormy weather. So overnight tonight, conditions are going to be calm. Right now, we're sitting at 33. Feels like 33, but those winds are calm for the moment. Whenever that wind picks up even just a little bit, it makes it feel a lot colder out there. Dew point sitting in those upper 20s, so it is very, very dry. Want to make sure that everybody is aware. It is very dry out there and cold. So here's wind chill, what we can expect overnight. I'm expecting temperatures to drop off into those upper 20s. Wind chill going to make it feel a few degrees colder for us, and then once we go throughout the day, wind chill is not going to be a factor until tomorrow morning. That's when we can expect, or Monday morning, that's when we can expect to see those wind chill temperatures again several degrees below the actual temperature. But good news is the afternoons, we're going to see plenty of sunshine. So our afternoons are going to feel a lot better than those mornings, but colder air, even colder than what I was just showing, coming up in our 7-8, and I'll let you know when coming up soon.
Thanks for the heads up, Emily. Now, there were multiple events this weekend honoring the life and the impact of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. ahead of Monday's holiday. Scholarship Breakfast highlighted Drum Major for Unity Award recipients. The 6th annual Martin Luther King Jr. Drum Major for Unity Breakfast recognized people in Aiken and Edgefield counties for their work in advancing civil rights in their communities. The recipients of the John A. Chase Scholarship were recognized as well. That scholarship is given to multiple young men each year who have showed a high level of academic and leadership skills throughout their high school journeys.
It gives us an opportunity to give back in a way that is actually meaningful, to give people their flowers while they're still here, and then also help individuals, students with their academic pursuits.
The students receiving the money don't actually get it until they are in the school as well. Now, on Monday, there are multiple events going on, including a day of celebration at the Liberty Park Community Center from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Gap Ministries also celebrating by hosting a canned food drive from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. They say some of the most needed items include canned meats, soup, tuna, water bottles, crackers, and seasonings. You can drop those off at 1260 Ellis Street in Augusta. And as we said, full list is on our website, wrdw.com. Now, House and Senate leaders have cut a deal to keep the government funded until March. House Speaker Mike Johnson will talk with House Republicans tomorrow night to discuss the spending negotiations. The move is expected to give legislators more time to produce longer-term spending bills. And thousands of protesters took part in a March for Gaza rally today. Now, severe weather and the continued grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes are causing issues for air travel around the nation. The website FlightAware says at least 1,100 flights into, out of, or within the U.S. were canceled today. This includes more than 300 combined flights that Alaska and United Airlines have canceled. Those are the two U.S. carriers that use the 737 MAX 9, which has been grounded since last week's accident where a door blew out mid-flight. One traveler in New York was informed by his rental car company when he tried to go to the airport.
So I ran up here, he held my car for me, and I came up here and he says, nope, you're definitely not leaving. So I'm kind of stuck here, nowhere to stay, no car, just enjoying the storm.
And looking at FlightAware now, we can see its misery map that is updated every few hours. Today it looks like there is more green than red, which means flights are currently running on time at that airport. But with more winter weather expected next week, cancellations could tick back up. Former President Trump now has to pay almost $400,000 in legal fees to the New York Times. He was ordered to do so by a New York federal judge. Follows a failed lawsuit from Trump against the outlet and its journalists. He sued the paper and his niece, Mary Trump, over disclosing his tax information in a 2018 article. The judge said the decision was a message to people who want to silence journalists. The judge allowed a separate civil case against Mary Trump to continue, however. Coming up, there was a massive fire in the Northeast that crews struggled for most of the night to put out. How it got to be that big, coming up next.
Aruba's Richmond is
Just 2 days before the Iowa caucuses, the severe weather has forced Republican contenders to adapt, and with temperatures forecasted to be in the negative double digits on caucus night Monday. Many are wondering how the bitter cold will impact voter turnout. Natalie Brand reports from Iowa.
Despite inches of snow on the ground and sub-zero temperatures, the campaigns are trying to plow ahead during this final weekend before caucus night.
They can throw a blizzard at us, and we are gonna fight!
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis traversed the state for a series of events, including a stop at the headquarters of the super PAC supporting him. Volunteer Debbie Hedinger says she's made 2,000 calls on behalf of DeSantis since she started volunteering in October. What do you think DeSantis' chances are?
Well, I think they're very good because they have a really good ground game here. And I think, well, I'm hoping that the snow and the weather doesn't keep people home.
Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley also tried to cover as much ground as possible Saturday to win over undecided voters, but John Urkela has his mind made up.
The Republican Party, we have hemorrhaged suburban women voters. I think someone like her would bring a lot of those voters back to the fold and give us a fighting chance to win again.
Polls show a close race for second between Haley and DeSantis, but both trail former President Trump by double digits in the latest surveys of Iowans. Trump, who's maintained a strong base of support in rural parts of the state, had to cancel events planned for Saturday before making an appearance in the evening.
Even with the snow here, I think nothing's going to keep a Trump person from being out at the caucuses on Monday.
Mother Nature delivering an unexpected blow, with campaigns trying to ensure their supporters turn out on what's expected to be the coldest caucus night in history. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Iowa.
And again, those temperatures are forecasted to be below zero on Monday evening when caucus goers gather at precinct locations across the state.
Well, thankfully, we will not be seeing temperatures that cold, but it is going to get pretty close overnight tonight. We're going to see lows in the lower 30s, but that's not the coldest that we'll see this week. I'll let you know when coming up.
Hey, babe, it's going to get cold soon. Did you?
Easy cook, easy clean. Reynolds Wrap.
Trust meteorologist Emily Acton for your first alert. The First Alert team, named best in Georgia.
Emily, a very serious week we just had in the weather. I'm just curious, are we going to see it calm down a bit in the forecast?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a lot calmer this week. We do still have a couple chances of rain, but not expecting any severe weather, thankfully. So, again, we had 2 severe weather days, or chances of severe weather, again, 2 days last week. But thankfully, things have calmed down for us this weekend. It's been beautiful on the colder side, though. But conditions outdoors have been great right now, sitting in the lower 30s for most of us. Some spots reading a little bit warmer, but we're going to continue to drop overnight tonight, expecting us to see lows in the upper 20s. So very cold conditions for us. Thankfully, we're dry, not having to deal with any rainfall. Again, we're going to be dry throughout the rest of our weekend. So that's some good news. A little bit of cloud cover coming into play overnight. So that'll kind of stop us from reaching anything super, super low. But again, I'm still expecting us to see those upper 20s tonight. I know this map's reading a little bit warmer than that, but we're already in those lower 30s. So again, going to be another cold night for us, starting off Sunday cold, but going to be sunny for the afternoon. We'll warm up into those middle, maybe even upper 50s in some spots. So going to feel great outdoors tomorrow. Maybe if you have a jacket on, it'll feel even better. But cloud cover will return for the overnight hours Sunday into Monday, but we're going to take a bigger look at what we're expecting here in the southeast at least. So this is starting tomorrow morning. You can see cloud cover moving out. It's going to be a sunny afternoon for us, but let's take a look at what the rest of the southeast is dealing with. Again, this is Sunday around 10 p.m. Cloud cover moving into our area, but staying dry. That's going to stay true throughout the day Monday, but check this out. They're seeing some snowfall well to our north. Want to make sure that that's very clear. Some heavy snowfall through the Tennessee Valley, North Alabama, maybe even portions of northwestern Georgia, but again, not impacting us here in the CSRA. We're going to be a little bit too warm, and the moisture's not going to catch up to us by the time that this front is expected to move through, because again, there's a cold front associated with this that's bringing some really cold air to us, but lots of heavy snowfall expected again for the Tennessee Valley. Not going to make it to us here in the CSRA. It will be a little bit too warm. That rainfall will come in later in the day Tuesday. So again, Tuesday afternoon, things are going to be a little wet out there, but on the warmer side. Just want to make sure that's clear. But overnight in the early morning hours, that's when we're going to expect to see temperatures dip below freezing. Going to see hard freeze Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And that's when temperatures are below 26 for several hours at a time. So here's Wednesday morning. Wednesday's definitely going to be our coldest morning of the week, just kind of comparing models there. Not a big difference, so that's some good news. But we're going to see the teens. By Thursday morning, things are going to be cold. Wind chill value is going to make it feel even colder than that. So very cold week for us, Craig. Hope that you have a lot of stuff in your closet ready.
Of course. Thank you for that important heads up, Emily. And severe weather is impacting more than 70 million Americans this weekend, with bone-chilling temperatures forecasted from the south to the northeast, to the west, and everywhere in between. Christian Benavides reports.
An Arctic blast creating hazardous conditions throughout most of the country. Sunday's Buffalo Bills and Pittsburgh Steelers playoff game was postponed to Monday in anticipation of deteriorating conditions.
You've heard me warning it for days. You've heard our county executive warning it. You've heard our mayor warning it. And now it's happening.
Elsewhere in the Northeast, heavy rain caused flooding from Maine to New Jersey, where residents couldn't leave their homes.
This machine, you can at least plug in the sub pump, and at least the water stay in the basement.
Blizzard warnings in the Midwest as residents are cleaning up. The wind chill Saturday as low as -40 in parts of the region. Officials in Buchanan County, Iowa are urging residents to stay home.
Fins up, baby!
While Miami Dolphins fans are braving very different temperatures than they're accustomed to as they arrived in Kansas City for the Chiefs-Dolphins game.
We're not coming here thinking of South Florida weather, that's for doggone sure. I got snow boots, snow pants, I got all of these things. You think somebody from Florida doesn't have this stuff? You're wrong.
Across the South, including Texas, they're preparing for below freezing temperatures, while out west, winter storm warnings from Oregon to California. A blast of winter weather for much of the nation. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
And as we head to break, for those that may not have had Peacock tonight, here's a live look at Arrowhead Stadium and your winning lotto numbers. Kansas City beat the Dolphins 26-7 tonight.
You know, you've got it pretty good. Streaming this much stuff was never this easy. Nice eye thingies.
They're collagen boosters. Get internet on the Xfinity 10G network made for streaming for $20 a month for 12 months. And Add Now TV for $20. It's the best value in live TV and streaming.
You guys like this show too?
Yes, chef! Get way more into what you're into when you stream on the Xfinity 10G network.
Hey kids, we want...
Rain is never good for a wedding.
On the air with Tim Strong. Ask your parents to go to wrdw.com/sketchthesky for more details. Sponsored by Hobbytown Augusta.
Rain is never good for a wedding. Until now. If it rains 1 inch or more on your wedding day, Floyd & Green Fine Jewelers will give you your rings for free. So pray for rain and watch News 12 and NBC 26 this weekend for the weather happening near you.
Emergency. First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group. On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Our wrestling postseason is here over at Greenbrier. Last night, the girls secured the area championship. It guarantees them a spot in the state duels today. It was all about the boys hoping to do the same. Last year, Greenbrier won the area championship. To do it again, they had to make a quick name for themselves. The Pack faced up against Coffee, Jenkins, Statesboro, and Ware County. They walked in as a number 1 seed, a big 63-12 win against Statesboro, put them in the finals. They took on Coffee to wrap it up, and in the end, they finished second, good enough to advance to state duels for the first time since 2018.
It's tough to break the lineup at Greenbrier with so many good wrestlers, but we gave an opportunity for those young guys to get a match in, and then with the excitement of the regional championships, it was a great experience for those fans.
And it won't be long before another one comes along. State duels will take place on the 19th at Jefferson. Okay, the last time Augusta and USC Aiken met to dish it all out on the court was back in March of last year. The Pacers sent the Jags packing in the NCAA Division II tournament. That March win, number 3, between the two, that's the longest the Pacers have been able to carry a streak over the Jags. This afternoon, they went for round 4. With Dick Mitras out, assistant coach Zach Tinkham stood in place. It was a fast start between the two. Jags held the lead for just over a minute before Aiken took over. The Pacers outscored the Jags 46-31 in the first half, shooting 56% from inside the paint. And while the Pacers gas pedal was stuck in sport mode, Jags got a big boost off the bench, and Max Madison, who picked up 14 of the team's 16. Pacers take home a winner across state lines, 83-70 at Chris and Berry. Here's a look at some of your other scores around town. South Carolina is now 14-2, and after a narrow win against Missouri, Georgia Tech, another close one against Duke. Georgia and Georgia Southern run into some trouble in Paradise. While the coaching carousel continues, Kirby Smart hit the break button in Athens. The Bulldogs have found their new co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach, Travarius Robinson. He comes from none other than the Crimson Tide. There he was the quarterback's coach. He also acted as one of Saban's top recruiters. And speaking of Saban, the Kalen DeBoer era at Alabama is underway. We heard from DeBoer for the first time as the Tide's football coach earlier this afternoon. He spent the opening moments thanking his family and the University of Alabama. Then he turned to Nick Saban. DeBoer said he had never spoken to Saban before. Yesterday, the new head coach says that the former one will have 100% access to the program.
He's the best in the business to ever do it. I'm just going to make sure that's all known, that's how I feel. And 100% access, okay, to everything. I would be a fool if that wasn't the case. I would be a fool. And I'm going to ask him that he shows up and make sure he gives me at least one thing every day. I'm sure he's going to have 10. I'm gonna be good with that. But at least one thing that he sees that we can get better at.
Taking a note from Coach, he plans to make his own as well. Check out DeBoer's resume. He's an incredible record of 104-12. He was the National Coach of the Year, and last year he was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year. So look out, Alabama.
Well, we didn't see any rainfall today. Not expecting any rainfall throughout the rest of our weekend, but I'll have a check on your 7-day coming up.
It comes out of
Home furniture and more.
How fast can you get your money after a car wreck? Call all nines now. George Sink Injury Lawyers has the experience to help you get your money faster. That's 999-9999.
90s making a comeback. 2 scripts that were thrown in the trash from the sitcom Friends are now for sale. They are the scripts from the episodes, the one with Ross's wedding, part 1 and 2. The episodes were filmed in London, and someone at the time picked them out of the trash, put them in a drawer, and forgot them. The starting price at auction is around $760. I believe they might have been sold. This is actually so awesome. I just got to that episode in Friends, so that was a wild plot twist. I cannot believe they threw that in the trash.
Out of all the mementos from Friends, I don't think I would want a script, though.
What?
Oh, I would love it.
Exactly.
Because then you get to see what was in the script and what was ad-libbed.
Yes,
True.
exactly.
That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
I want the door knocker. That's it.
I love it. I love it. Friends is a classic show. Love to see it. Switching over to the forecast this week, though. 2 chances of rainfall, really cold temperatures midweek, so definitely make sure that you're prepared.
And thank y'all for joining us on News 12 at 11. I'm Craig Allison, but be sure to wake up with Ashley Campbell and Chris Still.